What's up, YouTube? How you doing, YouTubers out there in YouTube land? Simpleuntruths, we're back. Another video. Glad you could make it. If you've never been here before, welcome. If you've been here before, you know the routine. We are Simpleuntruths, and we poke holes, we point out, we bring to light some of those inaccuracies, falsehoods, the lies that are out there on the internet that people are basically taking verbatim and assuming that they are factual when a lot of times you see a lot of stuff out there that just isn't. And this is going to be one of those types of videos. Today we're going to talk about specifically on it's a question I get asked a lot. Can I change fat to muscle? And that is the question that I probably get answered more often than not. And I don't know, maybe it's possible you guys are out here searching and you're looking at these transformation videos, and that might be it. I see plenty myself. I'm aware of a few folks that have been successful at doing that. I'm one of them. I mean, I haven't been overweight since 2009, so I've basically been around this weight for the last 8, maybe 9 years. So, well, it's 8 if you know how to do math. So, what I'm saying is that yes, there are transformations out there. There are total body transformations out there where people have gone from being extremely, extremely obese to skinny, and in fact, matter of fact, one in particular, obese to beast. I've been checking him out. I've been watching him for a while now, and this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's done it the proper way. He went about losing that weight at first. Okay, and obviously he was doing a little bit of resistance training. I'm not really sure. I might be paraphrasing a little bit, so I'm not exactly sure if he was doing a lot of resistance training while he was losing weight. But he did not attempt to try to get completely ripped and turn all of that blubber into something, because the issue with that is this. This is going to be the long answer, but I'm going to get to this nonetheless. Fat and muscle are molecularly two completely different animals, okay? So basically, to build muscle, you need protein, period. You need you need 4 things, don't make me do it. Okay, fine. You know the 4 steps that you need to build muscle, to build mass. I will leave the link to that video on the bottom of this one. All right, now, you need protein to build muscle. You cannot build muscle from fat, meaning you can't eat fat, you can't ingest fat and expect to be able to build your muscles up. You need protein for that. So by the same rule, to burn fat will not build muscle for you, meaning the fat is not going to fuel and be the building block to musculature. Now, there's another guy out there that I watch too. I can't think of his name right now offhand. I'll leave his link in the bottom as well. Like I said, if I don't know the answers, if I don't have all the inside information, all the particulars, I'm going to lead you to the individuals that do. And these guys have done it recently. For me, it's been a while. It's been since 2009 that I've had to go through that. I mean, I remember vividly losing the weight. That first 6 months was a pain. It really was. It was an absolute pain. That weight wouldn't come off fast enough as far as I was concerned. I was completely impatient with it. And I got myself just hooked on sugar. I mean, I was drinking coffee every day, probably 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 cups a day, probably closer to 4, to be accurate. I was drinking soda. I'm not going to lie about that. I wasn't eating healthily. I was eating very, 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 very much like a child. So, that being said, please excuse me, that is not the way you want to go about it. So I've been doing my research, and other people that were doing it a lot easier. So when I started losing my weight, it was a tedious process. I lost 30 pounds in I think the first 6 months. And then I lost the other 30 pounds in I think the year or 2 to follow after that. I believe by right around 2011, I believe is when I hit my benchmark weight, which was 208, something like that. So I'm big, okay? I'm 6'5", and so yeah, people that are tall can get fat too. I was weighing close to 270 pounds, and yeah, I was very, very unhealthy. I had I was really retaining water really poorly. I had that ring around my sock line on my ankles, where my sock would stop, and then the swollen, just the tissue was just swollen and pushed out, and it just seemed like somebody filled my whole body with water, like my body was a big water balloon, and the sock was like the constrictive point, if you will. And so it felt like I could barely get any circulation in my feet, and I was just lethargic all the time, and I was tired all the time. So, yes, I went through all of that. And I'm not ever going to go through that again, only because I know how to keep myself from going down that road. And the reason why I bring that up and the reason why I talk about Obese to Beast is because he did it the right way. I love the way he handled his situation completely. He knew he needed to get himself into shape. He was grossly obese. And I don't mean gross as in to look at. I mean he was large. He was a big boy. He lost more weight than I did, a lot more weight. And of course, you know, he did it the proper way. He went ahead and lost all that weight. Of course, he had a bunch of leftover skin. You know, it is the nature of it. And then on top of that, you know, you're going to want to fill some of that skin up with some muscle, maybe even a little bit of fat. But don't do that. Don't do that. I'm teased. I tease. It's not a funny joke. You really want to fill that skin up with muscle if you can. Barring you know, working out, you know, relentlessly, there's still going to be some issues with some leftover skin. But the point of this video really is this. You can't, from beginning to finish, you really can't build muscle out of fat. Whether you're ingesting that fat, whether that fat already exists in your body, that is not a building block for muscle. So to answer that question, can you build muscle from fat, or can you change fat to muscle? No, you really can't. It is two completely different issues. You can lose fat, you can gain a little bit of muscle, which will help you burn even more fat, but the two are a little counterproductive. Now, once you have muscle, then it doesn't become such a counterproductive situation, because muscle has a way of raising the metabolism, which will in turn help you to burn fat faster. And that's really the goal. That's where you want to be. So, no, you can't build muscle out of fat, and that's the end of that. All right, to sum up. Can you change fat into muscle? We've already established that you cannot. Now, you can lose fat and then build muscle, but you can't convert fat in your body or fat that you ingest into mass, into gains, into muscle. It's just not possible. And that takes protein, that takes intensive exercise, obviously, that takes macro and micronutrients, that takes rest. So let's just leave it at that. I don't want to get it any further down the road than that. I just don't want to just read too much into this situation. It just is what it is. It was a strange question, but a good question. It's a question that gets asked a lot. The reason why I say it's strange is I understand the steps. So there are no stupid questions. It just caught me a little bit off guard. Strange in a way. So there you have it. And I really enjoyed doing these vlogs. This is number 11. We've got one more to go before we wrap up this 12-part series. I've had a blast doing this, really have. And if you guys have any questions or comments about this video or any other videos coming up, we've got one more left. Please go ahead and leave them below, and I will answer each and every single one of them. If you haven't already, hit the subscription now button for this last video coming out. We're going to do more. We're going to have Simpleuntruths 2.0 jumping off, but we've still got one more video to do out of this series. So I'm already looking down the road. I'm enjoying this. So it's been a blast. Questions and comments below, notifications. Hit the subscribe now, and we'll see you on the next video. Be cool. Take care.